What is the purpose of living? So many people have this exact same question. You, in fact, might have this question. What is the purpose of living? Why are we here? Why are we alive? Why are you able to even watch this video and listen to what I'm saying? And you might think it's this super deep thing that, oh, we will never be able to figure out. You know, you watch all those videos where it's like, well, it's this thing you'll never be able to figure out in life. And it's just super deep. And I stood in a cavern with a rock and I really just got super quiet. And one day it just dawned on me. No, that is not the purpose of life. You're not gonna find it by just sitting in some dark cave like Master Shifu from Kung Fu Panda or whatever other movie or whatever great philosopher or someone you think. The purpose of life, at the end of the day, serve Jesus. Bring his kingdom forth here on earth. And to all the people, they're gonna click off, they're gonna like, oh my gosh, another one of these crazy Christian maniacs, another one of these people that are going to start saying, oh, we need to knock on the door and say, Jesus, Jesus, you know, or you might be saying, well, I am Christian, but the purpose in life, does that mean I have to be a pastor? Does that mean I have to work in ministry and all these different things? And no, you don't, most people don't ever need to work in ministry at all, in fact. And I wish someone told me this when I was younger, because when I was younger, it's like when I would think like, oh, like what's your purpose? You know, and to serve God and all that. And just like, oh, does that mean I'm gonna have to like, you know, I'm good with speaking, I'm good with communicating with others. Does that mean like if I really want to live a purposeful life, I'm gonna have to go and sing in a choir, go be a pastor or something? I'm like, I'm not, that is not my calling. Like, I know that is not my calling because that's just not something God has placed within my heart. That is not something that I'm drawn to, that I feel like I would perform my best. I'd be able to showcase all my different abilities, my creative abilities, you know, my leadership and all these different things that are part of who I am as a person. And, you know, that is your purpose. But then we have to look at purpose, but then there's another deeper thing, which is actually what are you supposed to do? Like, what is your assignment? That is the deeper thing that I feel like more people need to question. What is their assignment? Because we already know the purpose, to serve God and bring his kingdom here on earth. Then what is your assignment? You have to think of it like a body, literally how in the Bible, in fact, it refers to the believers as the body. The church is the body of Christ. So you have to think, okay, you know, the purpose of your whole entire body is to serve, literally serve the head and the body, and to make sure you stay alive and make sure you're well and you're well equipped. You know, you stay in homeostasis, which means you don't, like, it means you stay in health to where, you know, you're not too hot, you're not too cold, you know, you're not ever too hungry, but then you're never too full, you know, you're never dehydrated, but you're never like overly hydrated, you know, to keep your body in this perfect state always, you know. You know, the purpose of like your hands and all, it's to serve the body, to serve the greater whole of you, you know, to make that better and make sure everything goes well and functions how it's supposed to. But you have to think, what exactly is the assignment of each thing? Like your hands, like your hand has the assignment of to be able to grab things, you know. If your hand cannot grab things, that is a failure of a hand, you know. Like if your hand does not have the ability to grab things, to be able to move its fingers and all that, then that is a useless hand because is not able to fulfill its assignment. You know, if your foot cannot walk and step and it can't kick things and be able to walk around, then it is not fulfilling its assignment, because that is what it's supposed to do. Your foot is literally supposed to go and help you walk and step and keep you balanced. You know, your stomach is supposed to digest your food, and so on. Every single part of your body has an assignment, and that's how I like to look at it for people. We as people, we all have our each individual assignments. My assignment is not going to be the same as yours. You know, I'm good at speaking. I'm great at editing videos and storytelling and all these different things, but I'm not as good as like someone like singing. Someone might be an amazing singer, and that is their assignment, you know, to make amazing music, and that is what they're supposed to walk in, you know. There are other people, their assignment might be, you know, they might be great at sports. Literally, that is their gift. That is the talent that God has given them, that they've been blessed with. And their assignment is to, you know, play sports to the best of their ability, you know, use that influence for a positive, you know. And you have to live this life to where I feel like people often live this life to where they're like, oh my gosh, purpose is like, if you don't do this specific, like the most complex thing, or it's like this thing that is so incredibly deep, then it's like, oh, you're a failure. Like that doesn't make any sense. You think to live a life where you think that every single thing you're gonna do is just this loss, that you live a life just day to day. You're like, well, like there are two ends of it. There are people that say, there is no purpose, so you live every single day like it has no meaning. Because if there's no purpose to your life, then what are you gonna do? You're gonna find yourself just doing random things that don't make sense. You're not gonna feel compelled. You're not gonna feel led. You're not gonna feel inspired. There's gonna be no need to help others. There's not gonna be a place in your heart to want to help others, to truly want the best for others, because there's no purpose to the end of it all, right? You're just gonna die. Everyone is gonna die, and there's no purpose. So like, why would you ever try anything? Why would you ever put forth any effort into anyone else? Why would you ever try and do more? Like, why would you ever do that if there's no purpose? But then you have the other end where people, like, it's where this purpose thing is like this weird, twisted, deep thing that is just like, purpose, if we like really unify our minds, like all this, like just random deep stuff, like it's just random with no meaning at the same thing. So both have no meaning, because it's like one is trying to be overly deep and into this weird thing, and then the other is like, there's nothing, there's an absence. So it's like, where do you come to this middle point to where it's like you're walking forth in purpose, and that's pushing you towards the life that you truly want to live, to really actually help others, to advance society, to advance people, and to do all these different things. How do you find any of that out? Like, how do you find out your assignment? That is the question that you're really trying to look at, because purpose, I will always say, it is to serve Christ and bring his kingdom here on earth. But then it's just like, what's the assignment then? What are we supposed to be doing here? Because that can mean anything. It's like you go and you're like, well, okay, what does that mean for me? Like there's this person that's supposed to be a pastor. Does that mean I have to? No, that is not what it means. But okay, so here's is how to find your purpose. Here's how to find your assignment that you're supposed to be accomplishing. Look at everything you have in life, like not physically, not these physical things, like like this little plant, or a shirt, or a little microphone, or whatever it may be. Don't look at any of those physical things. I want you to really look at who you are as a person. Look at your character. Look at your gifts. Look at your abilities. Look at your talents. Analyze every single thing from the time that you were born. And this is a good point to where you have to do self-reflection. Really analyze, look at the different things within your life and say, okay, well, I always noticed I have a really good ability with speaking with others. This is something that I had to do one day, because growing up, I was good with speaking and connecting with others. But it was only until I started getting older and I was just like, this is like not something that's just like better than average. This is something that I'm really, really good at. Like this is something that people constantly say, you speak so well. You're able to, enunciate your words and be able to speak to others. And I can really like see this and understand what you're saying, and you'll be a good teacher and all of these things. And it's like that. I've heard that in my writing as well. And it's all these different small things. You have to look back. It might be things that you think are normal for you, but they're not normal for everyone else. I have a friend, and he is incredibly good at art, like incredibly good at painting, scribbling, like all the different things. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so good at this. And he's like, yeah, it's all right. Because it was normal for him. It was something that is felt like he was just born with it. It was just like a talent. It was just nothing special for him. And that is the same thing. That is how you're going to find your purpose and assignment. It's going to be something to where you really think that it's going to start with something that you're like, this is nothing special. This is just the ordinary thing, because God is going to give you an assignment that he created you specifically for that purpose, for that assignment. So it's just gonna seem natural. You're gonna be able to free flow within it. You're gonna notice that, like, one thing I like to say is that you finally feel like you're not a fish in a tree. You feel like you're a fish in water. You feel like you're in your natural environment. Because think about it, if you have a fish and you put it in a tree or you put it on land, that fish is going to be flopping around. It's going to be all crazy, and it's going to look awkward. The fish is going to feel awkward. The fish is going to, go over, look at like a cat walking on the ground, and he's like, man, I just look so stupid. I look ridiculous. Because imagine a fish is flopping all over the place, and there's a cat, like, just easily just walking with such grace and purpose, and then it's just like the fish flopping around looking stupid. So the fish is gonna be like, wow, I don't feel like anything. I don't amount to anything. But then put that same fish into water, and that fish is gonna move fluidly, swim, and be able to do all these different things, and just feel at home, be able to feel like it's normal, feel like it's perfectly normal. While if you put that same cat in the water, the cat's gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to get out. This is not my environment. I hate this. I hate this feeling. And that's the same thing. There's so many of us that we literally even live in small bits of our purpose. Like, there are people to where, they're meant to, like, let's take speaking event for example. They're meant to speak to a large amount of people, maybe speak to companies or at assemblies or all these different gatherings of people, and be able to mentor and lead these other individuals. But what they're good at, they're good at leading a group in school, able to talk and articulate their ideas to all their different classmates. They naturally find themselves as a leader and an excellent speaker in that aspect, and an excellent presenter. And what I call that is, like, they're a fish in a little pond. And a fish in a pond, you can do well. The fish is going to be able to swim, but there's limited amount of room. There's so much more that fish can do that the pond is going to limit them. They can still do a lot. It's just there's even more out there. So you put that fish into a lake. So that means maybe that individual, that person goes and gets in charge of a small team at maybe their work. Maybe they work at a retail store or a place in like a mall, and they're put in charge of a little small team. They're in charge of, okay, you go and do this, you go and do this, and they do little things, like they give the weekly speech, at the beginning of the week to excite the people that they're in charge of. Maybe they're a manager at a manager position. So that means they're at a lake. It's more space. They're able to do a lot more, and things are gonna free flow even better. And then next, you can be put into a sea. So that's the very next thing. Maybe you're put in charge of, more people, and it can go into expand into different levels. And then eventually, there's ocean, and it's just like just unlimited possibilities. Because with the oceans are all connecting. But it just feels like everything is just so vast. Everything is so large. Like it just seems like endless possibilities. And that person, eventually, they might become a big speaker to where they're able to speak at all these different events. Public speakers like maybe E.T. or Alex Huberman or David Goggins, and all these different people, because they're able to now just speak however now. They're able to go and speak to these large crowds, all these different people. But that's because from a small point, they practice that purpose. They realize that, hey, okay, I'm in a pond. Let me go hop into this lake. Let me go hop into the sea. And now let me eventually get into this ocean. But you have to realize it really takes a point of self-reflection. You have to look and analyze. It takes deep thought. What I always recommend, get into a period of isolation for a short amount of time. For me, that's something that I did for about a week. I really isolated myself, and that really helped. And I know it's not entirely possible, to completely isolate yourself, but try and spend more time reserved. You're not, don't go out a lot with friends. Don't go out with friends that week. Maybe spend some more time in your room. Spend some more time by yourself, able to be away from the outside distractions, because it's so easy to really get influenced so heavily on what everyone else is telling you. Because like certain people, they only see certain aspects of your life. People at school, they would say, oh, okay, Christian, you're super smart. You maybe need to go into like engineering or something. You're really good at all these different things. You've always been able to perform super well at school and all these different things. And it's like, well, that's only one small aspect of me. And that's not even an aspect I truly enjoy. And that's true. I don't really enjoy school. I always did really well in school, but I detested school for quite a bit. I just don't, it's just not where I feel comfortable in. I don't really perform the best. I don't like how they control and micromanage every single part. I like to create my own schedule, be able to work for myself, be able to lead myself. That's how I like to operate. So it's that same thing. You have to really get into a period of isolation. Look and analyze your life. Look at all the small things. That is so crucial. don't look past any small things. You might think it's a small thing, but it eventually adds up. It adds up into something greater. And you have to also realize that different aspects point to something bigger. Like, one thing is I'm really good at video editing, photo editing, all these different creative aspects of it. I'm great at storytelling. I'm also great at speaking and all these different things. And you're like, oh, then I have all these different things. But then it all lines up into something with social media and with being able to be a creator and an artist. That is what pushes me into that one thing that I'm able to find myself in this kind of more environment. That's how I'm able to find it with all these different things. Like with a fish, like not every fish is meant for a specific type of water. There's some fish, maybe they need lily pads in this water. They need certain types of plants. They need certain types of other fish. They need certain types of all these different things. And that's what you really have to realize. You have to realize that there's certain things that all compile into all these different things, all these different characteristics of you that go and form into something bigger. That's what you have to realize. Like all these small things that you're thinking, like so many people that they're like, I'm too good at I'm too good at many things. Like that is something I relate to. Like you're able to pick up things super fast. You're gifted at so many different things. So it's just like, there are all these different paths to success. There are all these different roads that I can go down. So how do I really know? But often all those different paths, all those different things, all those individual characteristics, they lead to something greater. God literally has blessed you with all these different small things to put you into something much larger than just like all these random pathways that you feel overwhelmed. And like in some cases, people get anxiety over because they're just like, I don't know which path to take. So now that you found what is this general area, what is this general vicinity, now you really have to ask, what value can I provide with that? What value can I give to others with that? Like how can I further take this? I can say, okay, social media, that is something I'm excellent with. Okay, so what does that leave me with? Because, social media, there are lots of people that do social media, but they post wrong things. They lead people astray. They lead people to do the wrong thing. They don't provide any value. Honestly, they're a detriment to society. They just hurt society as a whole rather than uplift others. So it's like, how do you find this? You have to go and find where you're going to find your people. Most likely, you're going to find similar people to yourself. Find people that are like-minded individuals, people that have the same goals, same passions, might have had the same problems as well. Like something that I can relate to. I dealt with depression. I dealt with, like several years ago, being suicidal and all these different things, and self-improvement and really focusing on purpose and and improving myself and doing this whole entire journey. That is something that really interested me and really got me out of that dark time. And I know that's the audience that I have, like the people that want to better themselves, they want to advance themselves. So I make videos about that on this channel and my other channel as well. Those are the types of videos that I make because that adds value. First of all, that adds value. And then second, it relates to people that I have the same thing. Like we have the same interests. We have the same overall goal. Not every single interest is exactly the same. Like I love cars. I'm obsessed with cars. But someone else might not care about the difference between a Buick and a LaFerrari. Like, but you still have a same general goal. You still have a same general like outline. They want to get better. They want to better themselves. They want to advance themselves and seek purpose over pleasure, which is my whole entire thing, which over the channel, over a little tagline or motto or saying, if you will. And that's what you have to find. You have to find, okay, so let's say there's an artist and this person, they're really good at drawing, right? They're really good at drawing and all this. So they find, okay, I'm really good at this type of art. But like they went through maybe a tougher childhood. Maybe they had an alcoholic parent, or they were an orphan, or all these different things. And they're able to paint and tell these stories through their paintings, through their pictures of what this pain was. But then maybe they might put the hope in it, or maybe it is just the pain, but it helps relate to other people through their art. And they go and create those works of art, and it's adding value because there are other people that are going to look at it and are like, well, I can relate to that. I feel something deep with that. I feel like a deeper connection with that. And that is really, I feel like I'm not alone in this. Or maybe they might look at it and it's a painting that gives a bit of hope in it or a bit of light, and like, wow, this makes me feel like I have hope at the end of the day. If this person can go through it, then maybe I can. And it is so deep, and there are all these different things. Like, I feel like so many people, especially Christians or believers, they think that whatever they have to do is ministry or all these. It isn't. Like, most people will not be in ministry. I'm gonna be so honest. Most people are not called out for it. Most people are not cut out for it. And maybe some people, the 9 to 5 is what they need to work at. They love their 9 to 5, and they don't need to be an entrepreneur. They don't need to like have, necessarily this super large business at a large scale or this super large following. Maybe they just need to have a little small following, but they have their 9 to 5. They love their 9 to 5. They love their nursing job. They love their doctor job. Maybe they're meant to go to college and live that life. But then it's like they're offering value in that aspect, but then they're offering value to the people around them. Maybe they're a person that's great at communicating, at blessing others with, maybe not just their wealth, but their time, with their speech, being able to understand others. And you just might never know. People always think that purpose is this thing where it's like, if you're not changing the entire world, then your life is meaningless. Realistically, not every single person is gonna change the world at a global, massive scale, but you don't know the small amount of people that you might affect, the small circles that you have, the people that you work here with, the people that you see every single day. You don't know how you might be a positive influence on them, and then they influence the people in their own families, and those people influence the people that they may meet at school, their children meet at school, or their friends, or all these different people, and it keeps spreading, and it's a ripple effect. Like, if you throw a stone in a pond and it sends out the ripples, and then it might hit another rock in the water or something else, and then that sends out ripples, and it just keeps on continuing going further. That is how purpose works. That is how it's something that it's something you're gonna constantly live through. If you have a purpose and it's something that you feel like you're gonna easily be able to accomplish in life and just one and done, then you haven't found it. Like, being perfectly honest, you have not found it. If it's just something like, oh, if I reach a number of people, then I'm completely done. My assignment is completely done. I completely finished. Most people, that is not the case. It is something you're gonna constantly live through. You're constantly gonna go through. Like, you really have to think about it that way. And that's how once you have that purpose, once you have that vision, that kind of more end goal that you always work towards, that you always chase, then that's how you get into vision. And that is where you set a vision for your life, and you're able to create a small little, I would say, a little tagline of what exactly you're supposed to do. Now, I could go into that deeper into the next video if you guys want it. Comment down below if you want me to talk about how to really discover your vision, how to create a vision for your life, a long-term vision that is going to drive you forward, that's going to keep you aligned and on a straight path. Because with purpose, it's very easy to get distracted by all these different things. It's easier to get distracted by, getting distracted by, having a wife, and not having a wife, I'm not saying that's a distraction, but, liking a bunch of people, like dating and all these different things. Or it's easy to get distracted by alcohol or drugs or all these different meaningless things that stray you away from purpose and the greater vision that you're supposed to have for your life. So if you want to watch a video on how to create a vision for your life and how to actually move forward into that vision purposefully, then comment that down below. But in the meantime, you can watch another incredible video about purpose right here.